What's up, guys? It's Road to Ewok. So I finally got around to making it. I know it's been a lot longer than I originally thought. But we're here with part one of my series of raising a competitive Pokemon from scratch. With part one being, of course, making money. Next, we'll have, hopefully soon, although I've learned my lesson about making specific promises when videos are coming out. Next, we should be covering breeding and then EV training. I hope to have that out soon. But with no further ado, let's get into making money. So there's already quite a few videos out on how to make money in Pokemmo, so I figured we'd take a slightly different approach here. Uh, First of all, because I'm going to let you in on just a little secret, if you take any money-making method that you can stand and do it for a reasonable amount of time, you'll make pretty similar money no matter what you're doing. So the real thing in Pokemmo comes down to finding a way to make money without wanting to kill yourself, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. So I've taken what I consider to be 5 of the most popular methods of making money and rank them based on how little they make me want to scream into the abyss. Finally, as an aside, I haven't put berry farming in this list, because berry farming is something that can technically be done concurrently with any of these activities, as you simply plant your berries, water them every so often, and then just come back in a couple of hours when they're done. Because it doesn't compete for a time slot with any of these, I haven't really put it on the list, on top of the fact that I don't find it terribly interesting. First off, we've got payday farming. Now, I'm going to be grouping payday farming here together with other sorts of tasks which require you to do something in battle with random Pokemon repeatedly over and over. So this is going to be thief item stealing farms, as well as Everstones and any sort of thing like that. So the general crux of payday farming is you get a Pokemon who can learn payday, being either Meowth or a Smeargle, click the move, and bada boom. Now, ideally, you want to knock your opponent out in one hit, but that's not necessary for this. So you get money equal to the level of the opponent's Pokemon that was KO'd by payday times 10. So you get 150 gold there because I knocked out a level 15 Pokemon. So, as far as I've found, the best place to do payday farming if you really are into this sort of thing is you come on down to the Battle Frontier in Emerald. You're going to start from the Poke Center where you fly to when you get here. You're just going to go ahead over to, I believe, the Battle Palace. There we go. Just surf across here real quick. You're going to need Surf and Waterfall to do this. Oh, we're going to get ambushed. Alright, now that that's done, I'm going to go down here to this waterfall. Okay, there are entirely too many Tentacruel here, so I'm going to go ahead and use Repel to get out of that. Okay, so you're going to follow down here, go on up, over, and you'll find yourself in this little cave. You can run around in here. A lot of people just stay right by the front. And this is the cave where you will find Smeargle, if you want to catch one. But, ooh, hey, a horde. Additionally, the Smeargles here have incredibly low base stats while also having a pretty high level. So they're the easiest Pokemon you can KO to pick up about roughly 500 per kill. My Smeargle isn't nearly high enough level or doesn't have the right stats to do that, so I won't be showing you the actual KOs. But suffice it to say, if you pull up this one-on-one right here, 50, that's you just click payday on a max level Pokemon, and there's 500. It's not a bad way to make money, but in my opinion, certainly not very fun. Number 2 on my list is going to be catching Pokemon to resell them on the market. So it differentiates this from, let's say, just knocking out Pokemon with payday over and over, is that you're actually playing the core Pokemon gameplay loop, which is catching Pokemon, which I know can still get pretty repetitive if you're doing this for a long period of time, which, to me at least, is better than sitting there spamming payday over and over as you slowly watch the life drain out of your eyes. For this, I recommend having a Smeargle, and this is one zone that, I'll use if I'm wanting to catch up Plains-type breeders, because I often like to catch all my breeding stock on my own. Smeargle is fantastic for this, because he can learn both False Swipe and Spore. So False Swipe is good for any Pokemon that can't flee, but if you want to catch an Abra, you'll appreciate having False Swipe on your team. So as far as the actual money making you get from this, it really depends. As opposed to payday farming, where you're basically getting a solid roughly 500 every Pokemon, here you're betting that you'll catch a decent Pokemon with a solid 31 IV, which you can then turn around and sell for, depending on the A group, roughly 8,000-ish. There's some bad A groups, like Special Attack Bug is pretty unfortunate, but, you can at least get a couple thousand out of any 31 IV Pokemon. So you want to farm in a place where you can use Pokeballs as the main ball to catch. This seriously cuts down on your costs, as each Pokeball is 300, and you want to be using a Pokemon where you can guarantee that your Pokeballs will catch, so you don't waste them. Alright, let's take a look at this Abra. Wow, Special Defense Abra, that's probably going to be 10,000. The way you want to check how much your Pokemon will sell for is you go over here to the trade link, this, and you're going to find the A group of your Pokemon. It doesn't matter the exact Pokemon that you have, although some Pokemon are worth more than others. So for the instance of Abra, we're going to look for a humanoid breeder with 31 to 31 special defense. Search. Lowest price, if anyone wants one of these, would be this Spinda. So if I want mine to sell, I'd have to undersell that. These ones in the last hour, so I might try to wait for the market to get up to around 8,000 before I sell it. But, that's just me. Abra is usually worth a little more than other Pokemon in the same group just because people like Abras. So if your Abra comes out with a naturally high special attack stat, it could be even more than just a random Pokemon in that A group. This zone has Abra and Eevee floating around as Pokemon that are worth more than just their egg group. It's not a fantastic zone, it's just one that I've used in the past. So while this first two methods can be considered farming in more or less its purest form, you just sit down and grind out repetitive activity for as long as you can stand, this next method, being the Gym Leader and Elite Four rebattles, is something that actually comes with its own timer. So we're going to go ahead and pop in here. The Gym Leader rebattles are formed as double battles, where the Gym Leader's best Pokemon is going to be the highest level of your Pokemon -1. This does cap up at about the 80s, so if you have a team of level 100s, their Pokemon will still be stuck in the mid-80s, giving you a decent advantage. But if your whole team isn't level 100 and you can get all of your team at around level 50 or 60, that'll still be easy. There's no reason to go to level 100. So the rebattles can be done once every 18 hours, and what I found is that it's definitely worth it to use an amulet coin for these. An amulet coin, which can be bought now as a consumable item, which is a little odd, but gotta find someone to make the economy grow in this game, is roughly about 22,000 right here, which gives you 1.5 times money from trainer battles. Now, if you pop that and grind gym leaders for an hour, which should let you clear out, at least how I do it, is clear out Emerald and get a decent bit of the way into Kanto, while making sure to stop by and pick up Morimoto, who I'll show you in just a moment, you'll be able to make roughly exactly 200,000. That's with my team, who is by no means optimized for these, so I'm sure you can get it even better on your own. That means that you make 200,000 with an amulet coin, making the extra 50% gain from the amulet coin worth far more than the 20,000 it costs to buy one, so definitely worth it to hit once a day if you're really just wanting to farm quickly. In 1 hour, 200,000. It beats out the other methods, certainly, for that 1 hour. The battles themselves are fairly simple. While the gym leaders do have teams built to counter the easy answers to them, such as spamming Flygon's Earthquake against the electric or fire type leaders, they're pretty easy to overcome with some simple strategy and good Pokemon. Alright, each gym leader gives about 13,000 with an amulet coin, or roughly a little under 9 without one. So what we're going to do here is the second part, which would be farming the Elite Four. Now, while this is pretty fun, and that the Elite Four actually pose a fairly decent challenge, with Pokemon also meant to counter easy sweepers, I don't actually use this as a method to farm money on my own. That's because you don't get healed in between the Elite Four battles, and there's no chance to stop up and heal without using items. So I feel that the items you have to use, such as revives and hyper potions, make it fun as its own sort of challenge, but not a great way to farm money. You're of course welcome to as you'd like, and I think it's very enjoyable, so that's why it made number 3 on the list. Alright, so we're on to number 2 on my list, and that's going to be farming the Battle Tower to get battle points to resell for items. So we're going to go right in here. This is the Battle Tower. There's all sorts of challenges you can do. Single is probably easiest because, just one-on-one, it's very easy to use optimized Pokemon to win these every time. I don't bother because I feel it's really not enough of a challenge. Doubles against the AI can get hectic enough that I actually find it really fun. I've gotten the win streak up to 88. This is by no means a high score. This is just a proof of concept that the team I'm going to show you does work. It hasn't lost yet. And it's a great way to farm these points out. So this right here is the team I've been using. My leads are Choice Scarf Tyranitar, along with Choice Specs Jolteon. So the way the Battle Tower works is you'll have to fight 7 enemies in a row. If you defeat all 7, you'll get some battle points. The first time you get some number in the 300s, roughly 350 battle points, but that increases by about 100 and then increases by 200 until after you've beaten 50 in a row, you get somewhere upwards of 2,000 per group of 7 that you beat. Now, the first time you fight the Battle Tower, it'll be incredibly easy. You'll be going up against unevolved Pokemon with bad items and even worse stats. The first 2 waves, you can really just farm with anything that has Earthquake and something that has Rock Slide. Spam those 2 moves on powerful Pokemon, pick up your KOs, and fly right through it. For the next waves, from, let's say, 3, 4, and 5, you can still use the same Quake Slide strategy, being just Earthquake and Rock Slide spammers, but you will have to be aware of them having some Pokemon with higher stats, which might not get cleaned up in one hit as easily. Once you hit the second to last round, being the 42 to 49 wave, you'll notice that the trainers become quite a bit more powerful. Their Pokemon will start using actual good items, such as Choice Scarf, where you'll randomly be outsped by some Pokemon. They'll have Choice Banded or Life Orb to Pokemon, so they'll hit quite hard. And they'll be using evolved forms of powerful Pokemon, so they'll actually have base stats on their side as well. To counter this, I find that using fully IV and EV trained Pokemon isn't necessary, but definitely helps out for the stage. So, the other thing here is you'll have to actually start crafting teams that are made to play around them. While Excadrill is great for mowing down the first couple waves with Earthquake, by the end they will use Pokemon that can easily outspeed and one-hit KO Excadrill, so I've started actually using the Sand to my advantage. This team right here starts with Tyranitar and Jolteon as your leads. This gives you the option to allow Tyranitar to outspeed any unboosted Pokemon you'll run into, and Jolteon to outspeed anything as well, just based on Jolteon's incredible base speed. Shadow Ball, Hidden Power Ice, and Volt Switch are all fantastic single target moves, and Discharge is great if they have two flying types or two water types weak to Jolteon's attacks. Tyranitar's Rock Slide is incredibly powerful, while Superpower and Crunch let him deal with any threat you could encounter. Earthquake would be preferable over Pursuit here, as this isn't PvP, the game won't be switching out on you very often, but I didn't feel like changing my Tyranitar that much just for PvE farming. In the back, I keep Excadrill and Salamence to switch in if I want to spam Earthquakes and have a Pokemon that's immune to them. Salamence also brings Earth or Intimidate to the table, which is very useful for lowering physical attackers' damage, and a plethora of moves, while all three of my other Pokemon are choice locked, being that Band, Scarf, and Specs are incredibly powerful for scoring quick KOs. Salamence brings some versatility to the table, and it's nice to have a Pokemon that isn't locked into the first move they pick. By the time you reach wave 50 and up, the Pokemon you encounter will actually be quite deadly. One of the first versions of this team that I was making, which was not quite as good, was actually completely destroyed by a Latios I ran into at the higher levels, which completely countered my Flygon and Salamence being faster and swiftly one-shotting them. So by the end, it actually becomes quite a decent challenge. So now let's talk about how much money you can actually make from doing this. When you're beating wave 50 and above, although it's quite a challenge, if you can keep your win streak up, you'll get over 2,000 battle points, roughly from the 2,000 to 2150 range, every group of 7 trainers you defeat, which with a decent team clocks in at roughly 15 minutes per group for me. That means that an hour or 4 groups of 15 will get you the 10,000 points required to sell a choice item, which will get you around 130,000. Now when it comes to turning these battle points into items you actually want, you're going to go just straight down from the battle tower over to this building right here, the lanterns festively blocking the way. And this lady right over here will sell you any item that you need. If you need them for yourself, this is a great way to do it. You have the single-use PvP items, or powerful items like Life Orb, Toxic Orb, Flame Orb, leftovers if you somehow missed it on the Vermilion ship like my friend did, and then your choice of the choice items right here. Now, another place that I've actually noticed is a pretty good deal here is if you go to this lady who will sell you the breeding braces. Now, these normally sell for 10,000, and buying them for 750 battle points actually means that you're getting a rate of $13.3 dollars per battle point. So when it comes to choosing what to do with your battle points, my two options are between the item lady or the braces lady. Braces are at a flat rate of $13.33 per battle point, whereas the choice items fluctuate as they're something that are bought and sold by players on the market. A rule of thumb is that if you can sell your item for a selling price of a little over 137,000, then it's roughly equal to buying braces. Anything higher means it's worth it, anything less isn't. This is in fact calculating in the listing price of it, so if you have to relist multiple times so people underbid you, that makes it even a worse deal. Now, I find Battle Frontier farming to be a fantastic way to have actually really fun PvE battles against opponents that aren't pushovers by any stretch of the imagination, and will bring out exciting legendaries that you have no way to encounter in other methods of playing this game. So, while it's great, it's a great source of money and very high on my list, I haven't even included the best part. The best part is that while you can make money doing either of these on your own, if you want to bring a friend along, you come over to this last lady here, you group up in a link with your teammate, you both bring 2 Pokemon, and you do the same thing, except you get double the reward. That's right. It's the same rewards per wave, but you and your teammate do it. So let's say you have a friend who's new to the game and hasn't built up any Pokemon, like I do. We just split my team down the middle. He takes half, I take half. We do this, and we end up making the same amount as if I was doing that solo, but just doubling the amount of money we make in a given amount of time. It's absolutely fantastic and a load of fun. I recommend it to everyone. Alright, so what could possibly top Battle Frontier farming to become the #1 spot on my list? And this one, I will admit, is a little bit cheating, but that's going to be the events that PokeMMO puts on. events like the Santa Claus Elfbot event or the recent Lunar event that just happened, which I did a couple of videos on, are absolutely incredible. They're great new ways to play the game, all sorts of new mechanics you haven't encountered before, incredibly fun if you're playing with your friends, but also fantastic ways to make money in and of themselves. In a run my friend and I did, just messing around without really a great idea of what was going on as we were actually making the guide at the time, we still ended up making about 700,000 without even selling all the items that we got from that event in just a couple hours. If I had sold everything on the time, we would have made almost a million right there. But farming events is better for more than that, because if you hold on to the items, if you don't need to sell them immediately, they'll steadily increase in value after the event is over. Let's go back to the small purple rat items that you could find here, and you've noticed they're already starting to climb up. The worst ones, like the tail, sitting down here at 90,000, but as this event ends and is further and further away, you'll notice that the listings creep up and up and up. The best time to sell these items is immediately after the event starts, when you can get insane amounts, about 300,000 per item, or quite a while after the event has ended, when they start to regain their price. I have some left over from the last Christmas event, being the Rising Star, which now has jumped up to a whopping 400,000 apiece, but was quite easy to find at the time. This is a decent investment option if you just want to buy the items and see how much they'll go up to, but I recommend playing the events for everyone. So that's the end of my list. I'm sure I've missed some great things that you guys like to do, so leave some hints down below. If I think they're fun, I'll try them out myself, and leave them in the description or maybe make a follow-up video if I really enjoy doing them. Alright, so I hope this helps everyone. We're going to be moving on to the next part soon. As I've learned from the past, I'm not going to make any date-wise promises on when it will come out, but shouldn't be more than a day or two. I'm having fun making these again. It's great to see all the support. I can't believe we're up to 19 subscribers. That's a lot more than I thought I'd get for just some niche Pokemmo channel. Thanks so much, guys. I love making these videos for you. I'll have one up on breeding coming soon.